The crisp air of spring held a sinister secret, one that would soon unravel the peace of a small town. It was a day like any other, filled with the usual routines and familiar faces, until it wasn't. A fisherman, casting his line into the serene waters, stumbled upon a nightmare that would haunt him forever. A suitcase, bobbing gently in the water, its contents a mystery waiting to be unraveled, caught his eye. The discovery sent chills down the spines of seasoned investigators who had seen their share of horrors. Inside, the lifeless body of Mary Gingles, a woman who had vanished without a trace just weeks before, lay still. How did she end up here? Who could have committed such a heinous act? These questions plagued the minds of the investigators. The news of Mary's death sent shockwaves through her community, leaving everyone in a state of disbelief and sorrow. She was a friendly face at the local bakery, a loving daughter, a trusted friend, and a cherished member of the community. No one could comprehend the darkness that had befallen her, nor the evil that lurked so close to home. The idyllic image of the town was shattered, replaced by a haunting question: who killed Mary Gingles? The fisherman, in shock and disbelief, called the authorities immediately, his hands trembling as he dialed. Police cars arrived swiftly, officers securing the area as investigators began their grim task of uncovering the truth. The forensic team meticulously set up their equipment, knowing that every detail was crucial in piecing together the mystery. As the investigation unfolded, the community held a vigil for Mary, their grief and sense of loss palpable in the air. Detectives worked tirelessly, reviewing case files and evidence, determined to find answers and bring justice to Mary. The town, once peaceful, now united in sorrow and a shared quest for justice, their hearts heavy with grief. As the sun set over the town, the question lingered in the air: who killed Mary Gingles? The search for answers had only just begun. Mary Gingles was more than a victim. She was a woman with dreams, aspirations, and a life brimming with potential. Her story is one of both light and shadow, a tale that reveals the complexities of a life interrupted. A bright student, she excelled in her studies, harboring a passion for literature and a love for animals. Her dedication to her education was evident in her grades and the respect she earned from her teachers and peers. Her kind heart and infectious laughter drew people to her, making her the heart of every gathering. Whether it was a small get-together or a large social event, Mary's presence was always felt and cherished. But behind her cheerful facade, Mary carried a burden, a secret that gnawed at her soul. It was a weight she bore alone, hidden behind her bright smile and lively demeanor. Her friends and family would later recall a subtle shift in Mary's demeanor. They noticed the small changes, the moments when her laughter seemed forced, and her eyes carried a hint of sadness. The once vibrant young woman seemed withdrawn, her laughter less frequent, her smile strained. It was as if a shadow had fallen over her, dimming the light that once shone so brightly. Unbeknownst to them, a storm was brewing in Mary's life, a darkness that threatened to consume her. The signs were there, but they were subtle, easily overlooked in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Little did they know that the danger lurked closer than they could have imagined. The threat was real, and it was closing in on Mary, casting a long shadow over her once bright world. Mary had a close-knit circle of friends, including her best friend Sarah, who was like a sister to her. Their bond was unbreakable, forged through years of shared experiences and mutual support. Her family adored her, and she shared a special bond with her younger brother Tom, who looked up to her. They were a tight-knit family, always there for each other in times of need. Mary often confided in her journal, pouring out her fears and anxieties, but she never revealed the full extent of her troubles. Her journal was her sanctuary, a place where she could express her deepest thoughts without fear of judgment. As the days passed, the weight of her secret grew heavier, and she became increasingly paranoid and fearful. The once carefree walks she enjoyed now filled her with dread, every shadow a potential threat. The once joyful Mary was now a shadow of her former self, her eyes reflecting the torment she endured. Her tears were a silent cry for help, a plea that went unheard by those around her. Her loved ones were at a loss, unable to understand the depth of her suffering or the source of her fear. They tried to reach out, to offer comfort, but Mary's walls were impenetrable. One fateful night, Mary received a message that would change everything, a message that hinted at the danger she was in. It was a moment of revelation, a turning point that set the wheels of fate in motion. In a state of panic, she fled, but the darkness she feared was closer than she realized. Her flight was a desperate attempt to escape, but the shadows followed her, relentless and unyielding. That night, Mary Gingles vanished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a mystery that haunts her loved ones to this day. Her disappearance remains a poignant reminder of the unseen battles many face, and the importance of reaching out to those who may be silently suffering. It began with a missed appointment, then an unanswered phone call. The silence was deafening and the unease grew with each passing minute. As hours turned into days, worry morphed into fear. Mary Gingles had vanished without a trace, leaving her loved ones in a state of panic. Frantic, her family and friends rallied together, organizing search parties and coordinating efforts to find her. They plastered missing person posters throughout the town and beyond, hoping anyone had seen her. Days turned into agonizing weeks, each one more excruciating than the last, each passing moment a hammer blow to their hopes. The community's anxiety was palpable. The discovery of the suitcase brought an end to their desperate search, a grim conclusion to their worst fears. But it was a closure laced with unimaginable grief, a sorrow that words could scarcely convey. The medical examiner's report painted a grim picture, detailing the horrors Mary had endured. Mary had been brutally murdered, her life cut short in a violent act that shocked the entire community. Her body bore the marks of a struggle, a testament to her fight against her attacker. The suitcase, a chilling symbol of her killer's desperation to hide their heinous crime, was now a key piece of evidence. The question that echoed in the minds of investigators was, who would want to silence Mary Gingles? What secrets did she uncover? The community, heartbroken and in shock, held vigils and shared stories of Mary's kindness and spirit, remembering her as a beacon of light. Search teams, both professional and volunteer, combed through woods and neighborhoods, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for answers. The police held press conferences, urging anyone with information to come forward, hoping for a breakthrough. The medical examiner's findings were crucial, revealing the extent of the violence Mary endured, and providing vital clues. Her family, devastated, clung to each other for support, their lives forever changed by the loss of their beloved Mary. Investigators, driven by a sense of justice, vowed to find Mary's killer and bring them to justice no matter how long it took. The investigation into Mary Gingles' murder was a painstaking process. Detectives meticulously pieced together the fragments of her life, interviewing friends, family, and acquaintances. They uncovered a web of strained relationships and a history of abuse that Mary had desperately tried to conceal. Their investigation led them to a name that sent shivers down their spines. Mark Thompson, Mary's ex-boyfriend. Thompson, described as possessive and controlling, had a history of violence. Witnesses recounted instances of his explosive temper and his obsessive behavior towards Mary. The evidence against him mounted, painting a damning picture of a man driven by jealousy and rage. Investigators analyzed phone records and digital evidence, uncovering threatening messages from Thompson to Mary. Neighbors reported hearing frequent arguments and loud disturbances coming from Mary's house. Physical evidence, including a weapon found at the scene, further implicated Thompson in the crime. The detectives' relentless pursuit of the truth and their thorough examination of all evidence left no stone unturned. The case against Thompson was strong, leading to his arrest and subsequent trial. Justice for Mary Gingles seemed within reach as Thompson was led away in handcuffs, bringing a sense of relief to her grieving family. The trial of Mark Thompson was a media sensation. The courtroom was packed with reporters and spectators, all eager to see justice served. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing Thompson's abusive behavior and the overwhelming evidence against him. The defense, however, tried to paint a different picture, one of a misunderstood man pushed to the edge. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Thompson was found guilty of the murder of Mary Gingles. The community breathed a sigh of relief, but the scars of the tragedy remained. Mary's family and friends struggled to move on, haunted by the memories of their beloved Mary. The town, once a picture of tranquility, was forever changed by the darkness that had touched it. The murder of Mary Gingles left an indelible mark on the community. Vigils were held in her memory, and a scholarship fund was established in her name to support young women pursuing their dreams. The local bakery, where Mary once worked, became a place of remembrance with a small memorial set up in her honor. The townspeople, though shaken, came together in solidarity, determined to support one another and prevent such a tragedy from happening again. The story of Mary Gingles serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of community. As time passed, the town began to heal, but the memory of Mary and the lessons learned from her tragic fate remained. Her legacy lived on through the scholarship recipients, many of whom went on to achieve great things, always carrying a piece of Mary's spirit with them. In the end, the community's resilience and unity became their greatest tribute to Mary Gingles, ensuring that her light would never be extinguished. The story of Mary Gingles is not just a tale of loss, but also one of hope, strength, and the enduring power of a united community. Let us remember her and strive to create a world where such tragedies are a thing of the past. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.